Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Badass Art. I'm Mia, and we are working out of our newest Turtle Bay. I hope everybody has enjoyed this one. I certainly have. I haven't really been able to stay out of it lately, but one of the requests that you guys have had is for a darker grayscale. And I thought that we would kind of kill two birds with one stone and do a dark grayscale and a dark skin tone at the same time. And for those of you who've been following me for a while, you know that I am really a big fan of the Crayola Colors of the World. I also really like a pencil brand called Giotto. This is made by Fila, F-I-L-A, I think I'm saying it right. They don't have color names on these pencils, unfortunately. But there's like a little area right over here where you can write your own name or number in if you want to. It's a set of 12 pencils, I think. You can get them on Amazon, and they are less than $20. Anyway, they are called Giottos, still Novo. I will add a link in the description or over on my Facebook page. These are great. I also, as a go-to, I always use the Crayola Colors of the World. It's just one of my favorites. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to be using both of these brands today. I think that they'll work really well with this one. So let's go ahead and get started with the Crayola Colors of the World. I'm going to start with a lighter color. One thing about darker grayscale, and by the way, this one is the medium almond color in Crayola. One thing about darker grayscale, don't be afraid of it because you have to look at it as a negative, like a negative photograph. You are working basically with the lighter shades of this image. When you're working on white paper, you want to start with the highlights and you work in the shadows. You're basically working backwards. You're starting with the shadows and you're working your way up. So don't be afraid to use more than 2 or 3 colors to blend out your shadows and get the depth that you're looking for. So we're just going to jump right on in. I'm going to start with these lighter areas. Just give her a touch of color. All of this is going to be darkened up. But we want to go ahead and start with a little bit of color so we know where we're going. I'm just going to touch up her cheeks a little bit, and then we're going to grab some darker shades and dig right in. So bear with me while I fill in this area. I hope that this camera angle is a little better than what we had going on before. And you want there to be a richness to the skin, nice and warm. This is a highlight, and basically you're saying, okay, this is the lightest area that I want this to be. So choose the darkest highlight, if that makes any sense. And I hope I'm not making you guys shake. This is a new camera holder that I've gotten. Trying to be able to film from above. And this is a learning curve for me too. Remember that the darker the paper, the better the lighter shades are going to show up with your pencils. Especially if you're using like a Faber-Castell Black Edition or the Avazar London collection. Those are made really to work well on black paper. So the pigments are already really intense. They're going to show up and they're going to blend over this darker grayscale as if it was like a gray piece of paper, because it kind of is. It's going to really show up well. So the lighter your color, if you took a white pencil right now and just started, it's going to show up incredibly well. Just so remember that, in most of our pictures, I always say it's so much easier to make things darker. It's harder to make things lighter. With the darker grayscale, it's kind of the opposite. Remember, you just want a touch of color. You don't want a whole lot on this very first layer. You're just kind of setting the mood, setting the tempo. Okay, now I'm gonna grab a more medium, this deep almond color from Crayola. I'm gonna go into the corner in the temple area. Just nice and easy, light hand. Lots of small circles. Patience is the key. With a good blended skin tone, you want everything to go together seamlessly. And just pull this darker color down into your highlight color. Sort of pull it in. Go right over top. Blend that in nice and easy. And some people get a little panicky when they're going over this grayscale and all of a sudden there's just nothing but pigmented color. That's what you want. You're not trying to blend the color with the grayscale. The grayscale is there as a guide. It's not a cheat, not at all. You're trying to go past the grayscale and make this look like something that is completely real, like a photograph, if that's what you're after. And that color is setting up really nicely on top of this darker grayscale. Nice and easy. And just gently bring that up into the lighter highlighted color. Keep in mind that you want this area right on the outside of the lip. There's a little dip there. And I know I say this in every portrait video. Make that area just a little darker. It's something that we lose the perspective in the grayscale. But if you do it and then you go back and you add that really nice light highlight right there, it's going to give you an added perspective. It's going to give you a little added realism that you wouldn't normally get. It's going to make a huge difference. You wouldn't think that something that small would make that big a difference, but it does. Okay, I'm going to grab an even darker shade. I think this time I'm going to go with one of the Giottos. If you don't have Giottos, that's fine. I would go with the very deep almond or the extra deep almond. This one, like I said, the Giottos don't have colors marked on them, but this is one of their darkest browns. It's a super creamy pencil, so really easy when you start. You know, definitely use a scrap piece of paper to get a good feel for these pencils before you jump right in with them, so that you can kind of gauge how much pressure you need. I really like these pencils for hair and for tree bark, I've used it for a few different things, but you know, like stone, but definitely really nice for darker skin tones and brunette and coppery color hair undertones. Now you'll see that it's sitting up on top of this grayscale. That's what you want. A lot of times I think that's kind of scary for people who are just starting on darker grayscale projects. They're like, oh, this will never blend. This looks weird. It'll look weird before it looks good. Trust yourself. Trust the process. Nice and easy. Be patient. That's why you guys are badass artists. You're learning the process. And if you have questions, feel free to leave them, in the comment section below. Find me or Tracy on our Facebook pages, our own personal Facebook pages. You can always leave us questions. We're happy to get back to you. Okay, increase the pressure on your pencil just a little bit as you're going around this area of the chin, because it's one of the darkest areas. Nice and slow. Now the bottom lip does not get that extra little spot. That only goes on the top lip. And you can see it kind of starting to come together. And I'm only doing, this half of the face right now. I don't want to, wear you guys out with a 30, 40-minute video. I'm trying to keep them between 15 and 20 minutes just to give a good idea of where we're going. If you guys want more, absolutely, I'll make more videos, longer videos, whatever you guys need. But, like personally, I start to get bored with videos after about 20 minutes. And, I'm not saying you guys are like me, but I have a shorter attention span. And, if I haven't figured out what I needed in 15 or 20 minutes, I'm usually looking for another video. So hopefully you guys are getting the information that you need. And this line right here came out in printing, and that's not how the original file looked, but we're going to smooth it out. Like it was never there. And just go right over top of that other color. Nice and easy. I have noticed that the geodos have a minimal amount of bloom when you're working. For those of you who don't know what that is, when you're, working away and the pencil kind of crumbles under you and you have to constantly sort of swipe away the little crumbly pieces, that's called bloom. And I don't know why. Okay, we're gonna hold this one up here because we're coming back to it. I'm gonna grab the light medium almond from Crayola. And right now I'm just gonna kind of smooth all of this out. I'm not really using it as a blending pencil. Of course you can. I'm not much on burnishing my images. I know some of you guys are really, really big on that. It's a beautiful effect. It's just not something that I do very often. I'm just kind of pulling all of this together, trying to blend out the lines, if there are any. If you feel like anything is just a little imbalanced, go ahead and grab that now. And any spot that you think just needs a little bit of something. Notice that when I go over this darker area, you can see that lighter color really easily, just for an example. See how easily that shows up? If you want to go in one more time with something a little bit darker, just around the edges. I have extra deep rose. I don't think I want to, yeah, rose is okay. We'll add a little bit of color in her cheeks. This is really dark, so it's not going to take away from any of the work we've done here. And there you have it. And just go in here, add the rest of that darker shade. You're pretty much done with that side of the face. I'm not calling this this one complete. We'll come back in and we'll finish this side too, and her neck and shoulders, of course. But this is a good start. I think we're probably getting close to 22, 23 minutes. So I don't want to, you know, I don't want to make the video too long. And I hope this has given you a good head start on not only darker grayscale, but also darker skin tones. They're not as scary as they seem, I promise. So we'll close it out for today, and we'll be back later with the other side of the face. Okay? Hope everybody is having a great day. Happy coloring.